Because of congressional limitations, the VA can't provide the dental help he needs. Through our Will You See One Vet program, we focus on helping U.S. military veterans like Richard. Now we are seeking more general dentists and specialists to donate treatment to at least one veteran with special needs. When you volunteer with DLN's program to see one vet, we handle the details so you can focus on the care. If you are a dentist or know a dentist, please share this message and help us make a difference in the life of a veteran in need. Visit willyouseeonevet.org to learn more. That's willyouseeonevet.org.
K2SN Tempe, also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix, 99.3 FM, K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Live from the Harmon Solar Studios, it's time for the main event with Stephen McCollum.
Monday afternoon, the main event here on 1580 The Fanatic, 99.3 FM, 95.9 in the East Valley. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum. We got Phil filling in again this week here behind the board. Phil, first of all, how was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was all right. How was yours, Steve?
It was good. Little nice and relaxing. Recovered a little bit, as everybody knows, a couple of weeks ago. But finally feel like a human again with that bronchitis I got and all that. So, have some slight moments and everything, but can't complain at all. I'm not going to lie. Can't complain. So, of course, Friday night started off pretty decent. Let's just touch on the end of the Olympics here. We're not going to go into details, right? The United States ended up stealing the most golds, most medals. We ended up getting that. Of course, women's basketball won the gold, which is always exciting.
Yes, and the way that they partied, it was fantastic.
Did you see that? That was pretty funny when Sue Bird or somebody was talking about how cocky Diana Taurasi was and UConn and everything, and behind her she's doing like the little wiggle dance and she's just swigging champagne. It was like perfect timing in terms of just how that went down, almost like it was staged. Obviously it wasn't, but it was pretty funny. But the big thing, obviously we want to talk about is the men's basketball game on Friday night. I mean, ended up being a really good game, right? I think we all felt confident the men were going to win, but France made that pretty dang close. And the thing I want to say about the men's basketball team is, Durant has, which he's a petty guy, right? But he has a right to go to YouTube or Instagram or wherever and do his little brag about everything talk. However, does Green get a chance to do that? Like, did he play that well that Green gets to also brag about how everything went well?
Well, the thing about Draymond Green is twofold. One, I think part of that ferocity was in response to the quote unquote pundits around
Kendrick Person.
Yeah, the general NBA elite who are saying that not only is there chemistry issues, but probably obvious chemistry issues between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. Now they've kissed and made up, and they seem to be all fine now. But that was a narrative that I think was somewhat undersold just because of how underperforming the team was doing in the beginning, but it got buried and they certainly didn't forget that it was there. So I think that's what they were directing their responses to. But Draymond Green specifically, he does a lot of the stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, like directing the defense, initiating the offense,
yelling at the refs,
taking the fouls that the team doesn't want to give. He does that stuff. So.
Well, you said it perfectly and set this up. That narrative that this team lacked chemistry did not go away just because they won the gold. Look at that game, for instance, right? The France focused on shutting down Kevin Durant, right? No doubt about it. They focused on it. He had 21 in the first half, I believe it was, something like that. But there was definitely, if there's something to learn from this experience, yes, they won gold. They should have won gold. We've talked about this before. But if there's one thing to derive out of this, the thing to derive out of it is there's chemistry issues with this team. So how do you avoid that moving forward? Because let's face it, I mean, you expect him to win gold, like I said, regardless. But there's no doubt Kevin Durant was the guy. I mean, obviously Friday night Tatum stepped up a lot, scored some points, win. But man, Dame Lillard started the game like 1-7 or something ridiculous like that again.
Oh yeah.
And just how do you avoid that going forward? Because there's no doubt the world, the world teams are getting stronger because they play together a lot more. And it's coming down the pipe where, unfortunately, there's going to be a day where we're all going to be jumping off bridges, right? Coming forward, where our team's going to struggle and it's not going to be coming down that. Just figure out how to do it. Now with Jerry Colangelo out, as I'm struggling for the words on how to describe this without sound like an idiot, right? But with Jerry Colangelo out, not that he was, but maybe he's been there too long, right? Maybe it turned into a good old boy type of network thing where, just next man up and guys didn't really fight for the spot, stuff like that. But I mean, there's a lot of factors too. I mean, with the NBA season ending like it did, 3 of the main players showed up. How many guys went out because of the COVID side? A lot of factors involved, in this thing. But hey, 1 goal. Good job. Fantastic. Because anything else would have been very, very disappointing on that side. So other news over the weekend, of course, NBA still, getting guys signing here and there as everything goes through on that side. Nothing really pressing. However, as we get through the weekend, lots of consternation. I see a lot of stuff with the summer league starting, right? And summer league is what it is. And it started, I believe, last night was the first games. I'm not sure if there was any on Saturday, but there's a lot of interest, of course, in the Suns league for guys that just aren't going to play, right? They're all, rookies. They're all smaller guys. Is this just one of those things where it's like, oh, we got to pay attention to basketball because we have been? Or is this just people really want to see these young guys on the Suns to see who's the future on the Suns? Because let's face it, 90% of the summer league guys are not going to be on this team ever with the veterans you have on this team. This team's poised to go for it now, and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if that's something that everybody has their eyes on this weekend. I was reading a lot about that going into this weekend. So today at 1:20, just so everybody gets a programming note here, we're going to have Chris Cartman from Sun Devil Source joining us. Talk a little ASU camp, right? Obviously, some news came out today about a couple more coaches being, I don't know if suspended is the word, put on leave. And that's fine. It all wraps around this whole deal going on. And we're going to touch on that for a second because I have a legitimate coaching question because of that. And then we're going to talk about camp. I mean, he's out there. Of course, Sun Devil Source is the premier leader on ASU knowledge and behind the scenes stuff and reporting. Fantastic site. If you're not on that, definitely look it up on Twitter and join his site. But he's going to join us at 1:20. Talk some camp. Get ready for Sun Devil football because we are about a month away now. I believe the first game, don't quote me on it. It's September. I'll look it up on a calendar here real quick. September 9th, I believe is what it is. My calendar coming up here. So get into ASU camp. I mean, saw a lot of highlights this weekend. Herm, of course, was at the Hall of Fame ceremonies where, getting some props like he does. Phil, did you watch any of the Hall of Fame ceremonies?
Well, I would be very detriment in my duties if I did not watch Peyton Manning get enshrined. And of course,
that's what I was getting at.
Yes. Tom Brady, of course, cheering on his fellow GOAT. But other than that, no, I mean, Charles Woodson is intriguing, but it's a bunch of good football guys that I wasn't necessarily, it's no Ray Lewis who went on for 5 hours preaching. God bless him.
Right. That was a whole nother deal from Mr. Ray Lewis likes to talk. Peyton's always funny, right? Peyton's always a good conversation. The thing I liked most about him was he focused on football and the future of football, which is fantastic. Nobody ever does that anywhere else. And it was fantastic for him to do that, because most guys, there was one guy, I don't remember who it was right now off the top of my head, because I was so annoyed by it. We talked about all of his business ventures, right, with his CBD oils and that stuff. And it was just, absolute just waste of time for him to be up there. And good for these guys. It's a culmination of a long career. And these guys aren't public speakers, no doubt about that at all. So I don't know what you expect from these guys, but I will say yesterday I'm sitting around, yesterday afternoon, yesterday late evening and everything, and I'm sitting there. I'm trying to figure out why there's a second. I'm like, why are there more people being enshrined? Wasn't this all last night? I forgot because of 2020 COVID stuff. That there was 2 nights of it. Because it was just funny how my mind was trying to wrap around the fact that I had to figure it out. Now, the Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones things cracks me up a little bit because only reason Jimmy Johnson is being nice to him is because now he's going up in the Ring of Honor, right? And I don't know. Jimmy Johnson is a better man than I am because I would not put up with that at all. I would have let stuff come out, right? Especially with Jimmy Johnson doing the whole, Jerry Jones doing the whole, I don't know what happened to our friendship deal. Yeah, he does. He knows exactly what happened, at that time and all that. Other just quick football news that'll affect your fantasy draft. But then also your, going into this season, if you're a Giants fan, hey, nobody retired on the Giants this weekend.
We have breaking news. That is great.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody retired.
No. Well, maybe Joe Judge retires here by the end of the week, but we'll see.
So I read an article actually yesterday evening. I read 3 different articles from guys that follow the Giants, and the gist was now. One of them's a national guy. The other 2 other guys are probably, are like podcasters, those type of guys. They follow them. They have a business following them, but they're not, like CBS Sports or whatever on there. And all 3 of them have comments from current players and old players saying that Joe Judge's ego is a problem and nobody likes playing for him. So we talked about that a little bit last week. Me and Phil did on just that he's going to make people upset. They're not going to want to play with him. Guys are retiring now. Whoa. And now stories are coming out saying that.
Well, you're saying Dave Gettleman hired a guy with an ego problem? Who could have seen that coming? That's the kind of guy he wants to hire? What? No, not the guy who drafts 5 wide receivers in the draft and then signs a couple more in free agency. Not that guy.
Right. Phil's got the sarcasm down today. I love it. It's just you don't see stories like that coming out. What is this, week 3 of training camp, right? And I think there's a serious problem there in Giants land. So on that side. So here's an interesting thing. We don't talk about COVID on the show at all, in terms of the COVID side of it. Obviously Kirk Cousins is not vaccinated. This story fascinates me. We're not going to get into the details because, look, get vaccinated, be vaccinated, unvaccinated. It's not for this show to tell you what to do. It's not for me to tell you what to do. We've been over, you guys know how I feel on this stuff, right? However, this story is fascinating to me just because Kirk Cousins, not vaccinated, never had COVID. And he's getting lambasted by national media people for saying he'd rather be in bubble wrap. He'll put himself in saran wrap before he gets vaccinated. All that
in a plexiglass case of emotion.
Right. Here's the weird thing about this story that fascinates me. And this is what's fascinating. Lamar Jackson, not vaccinated, has had COVID twice now. Nobody's ripping Lamar Jackson for it. What's the difference? I mean, without getting into the political, we can get into the political stuff and stuff like that. But all I'm saying is the story fascinates me for that reason. Lamar Jackson's not vaccinated. Twice COVID now. Well, last year it cost his team. Remember, they were moving all those games around. And then this year, now he just got off the COVID list. Both unvaccinated. One's had it twice, one hasn't. This is my bigger point on this is what the NFL and the NFLPA are going down this level with all these new rules they're changing and things like that, that they're setting themselves up for something. I'm going to use the word spectacular, but they're setting themselves up for something, to happen during this season where it's going to cost somebody a lot of games. and it's going to be fascinating to watch. And of course, we don't want to see that, right? We're all NFL fans. So just a little side note on just that whole storyline. If you were following that over the weekend, and I know I saw some tweets from Clay Travis. Those of you that follow me know I'm not the biggest Clay Travis fan. I'm not even the smallest Clay Travis fan by any stretch. However, he actually is the one that alerted me to this situation, and I didn't believe it. So I went back and did my own research and everything. And even Lamar Jackson came out today and said he doesn't want to, quote, dwell, unquote, on the vaccination decision that he made. But Kirk Cousins has to answer 700 questions about it every day when he goes into practice and things like that. So I'm bringing that up, like I said, not for the COVID side, but more as a bigger picture that the NFL is walking itself into for this year, right? Cole Beasley never had COVID. Lamar Jackson has. So when the season starts, I just feel like something's coming down the pipe. And I don't mean I don't mean bad or whatever. I just think the NFL's way of handling this and the NFLPA's way of handling this is setting it up to where something's going to happen where a lot of people are going to say, "What are you doing, NFL?" right in the middle of the season. And it might cost some people some game checks and things like that. So I know I was making fun of the Giants earlier, Phil, but the whole point of me making fun of them was to say Saquon's back off the P8 pup. So did I say that earlier?
No, you did not. No, you did not.
We went the making fun of him route instead of the tell you what the story was. I was making fun of him about.
I don't care, Steve. We made the right decision. If you want the news, go somewhere else. We got a handle on the making fun of you.
Right? I was like, oh, I guess I should finish what I was going on there. Of course, Saquon Barkley, blew out his ACL last year. He's been on the PUP list. Coming back to practice for the first time since his ACL injury today. Huge news for the Giants. Let's assume he's not going to retire out there. But huge news for the Giants because Daniel Jones needs a running game, right? Out there. The Giants line is going to be fairly decent. And we get our first look at Cowboys training camp with Hard Knocks. I believe, is that Tuesday night, tomorrow night, or is it Wednesday night? I get confused. I got it right here. So we get our first look at Cowboys camp this week, obviously through the lens of HBO Hard Knocks. And we know what's going on in Giants land with all that fun jazz and everything. So we'll see. I mean, look. Again, we talked about it last week when they did the preview on Hard Knocks and everything. The Cowboys, where it starts off with, America's team is back, which I made fun of because they haven't been America's team in a long time. But then all the preview stuff today is like, it says the Cowboys are a global entity and such. They take brand maintenance very seriously. Any recognition of heroes of franchise past is celebrated with great tenacity. So expect much to be made of Jimmy Johnson's enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past weekend. So the first episode is going to be a little bit of training camp stuff. They're not going to, I bet you everybody wants to see Dak, right, Phil? Everybody wants to see Dak.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to see, especially with his injury.
You're not going to see much of him because of his shoulder.
Because of the, from what
not because of the ankle. Because of the shoulder.
Oh, yeah, because of the shoulder. They're saying it's more of a baseball player injury, under the armpit almost.
Yeah, remember I was telling you last week the stories I was reading from guys was that it's just he's going to have to manage his shoulder all year long. And that's not a good sign at any stretch of the imagination this early going on here at for Cowboys land. So we'll see. But I predict we're not going to see too much of Dak next I think it's tomorrow night. I looked it up and sorry, guys. I looked it up and then I clicked out on it before I saw it. So when we come back, we have Chris Cartman joining us from Sun Devil Source. Let's get into some ASU football. ASU football fans. Huge year coming up. A lot of turmoil around the university. We're not going to focus on the coaching stuff too much. I do have one or two quick questions about that. But I want to get into the players on the field, right? Last year, we saw the team, but we didn't see the team. A lot of returning guys, lots of high expectations. So come on back. The main event, 1580, The Fanatic.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? Join the United States Postal Service and apply for roles nationwide. Serve your community with pride and receive benefits, including competitive pay and opportunities for advancement. Whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal positions, we have options that may be perfect for you. The United States Postal Service is an equal opportunity employer. Apply now at usps.com/careers.
This is Dale Hellestray from my friends at Constructors Bonding. If you need bonds, you can put your trust in Arizona's industry leader for the best service, rates, terms, and capacity anywhere. Constructors Bonding is the #1 writer with 14 sureties and will improve your bond program. Call Dave McKee today to learn how Constructors Bonding will perform for you. 602-432-5929. That's 602-432-5929 or visit cbialliance.com.
When you come to the desert, many things can be dangerous, but there's nothing more dangerous than a pit full of rattlers. Rattlers football is back. Don't miss a second of the action. Become a part of the Ninth Man for a membership of $10 per game for new season ticket members. All fans are welcomed as the Rattlers return at 100% capacity in the newly transformed Phoenix Suns Arena. Call 602-379-8274 today. Don't wait. Arizona Rattlers strike back.
Football is starting soon, and your exclusive home for the NFL and Super Bowl 56. The Fanatic wants to make your business a part of the action. Advertise your business on all the primetime NFL games, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday during the regular season. Here's the game plan. Your custom-produced radio commercial will air 2, even 3 times in every game. Plus, your business is branded during dozens of weekly NFL promos on the station, stream, app, and website. And you'll get commercial reads live during our morning and afternoon drive shows each week promoting your business. Don't forget about special teams. Your business gets 5 extra daily spots throughout the week and matching spots on our live stream website and on the 1580 The Fanatic Sports app. Plus, you can play defense against your competition and lock them out with our category exclusive option play. All this for the best deal ever. Now, even your small business can play with the pros. Go to 1580thefanatic.com for all the info and details. Is your business ready for football season? Go to 1580thefanatic.com and get in the game today.
Mortgage rates keep dropping. Whether you're looking to reduce your payments, pull cash out, or shorten your term, take advantage of District Lending's new lower rates. 15-year fixed rates as low as 1.99% APR and 30-year fixed rates as low as 2.49% APR. Call or text 480-694-7890 or check out districtlending.com/rates. That's districtlending.com/rates. NMLS 183-5285, Equal Housing Lender. Mortgage rate subject to change. This is not a commitment to lend.
And we're back here at the main event every Monday, Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. here on 1580 The Fanatic. On the text line, 888-368-1580. Hefty Lefty says, you don't know the game details of preseason week 1? Geesh, what kind of sports show is this? I'll break down every play if you want to, Hefty Lefty. I just don't want people to fall asleep on us, right? If you didn't watch it live, you're not going to listen to me talk about it. That's for sure. So we have joining us right now, Chris Karpman, of course, who's SunDevilSource.com. I hyped him up before the end of the break here. And I'm excited to have him on here today because wow, is ASU all over the news. Chris, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing really good. Glad to be with you guys.
Definitely. So my first question is, was there practice today already?
So, yes, there was practice, but today's practice was already previously scheduled to be closed to media.
Okay.
So we watched them practice last week, Tuesday through Saturday, and we'll be back out there tomorrow.
Okay, I was trying to stay up on that. And I just get confused on what day it is, and that's for you guys, right? On that side. So
yeah. If you're not like on the beat, you don't need the exactly. Day.
I was like I was looking it up today and was just like, oh my god, my head hurts on what's going on where. So, so let's get into this first. Obviously today. more news came out. Two more coaches were put. Suspend is not the word, right? It's just put on leave. I believe is so. Like I said, we can get into this for hours and hours and hours. My question regarding this is obviously it has to do with the recruiting violations we've all heard about and things like that. But my question is how big of an influence is this on practice when half the staff is on leave with all these issues going on?
Yeah, it's a pretty significant disruption. You have 30% of your staff now not going to be at practices moving forward. They had Justin Wood coaching tight ends now. He interviewed for the position at the same time as Adam Brenneman when Adam Brenneman got that job, and I think looks like he's doing a pretty good job. He arrived at ASU from Boise State, where Zach Hill was a coordinator, so he came with Hill. Donnie Henderson is going to coach the secondary now that Chris Hawkins is on paid administrative leave. People may remember that Donnie Henderson was ASU's defensive backs coach when they went to the Rose Bowl in 1996. So he's actually a lot more experienced than Chris Hawkins. So I think the secondary is in really good hands there. I think the biggest questions really coaching receivers and quarterbacks. What they're doing is Trent Anderson, who is an analyst but had been a graduate assistant for a couple of years previously, a few years actually with ASU. He's now back on the field in a assistant coaching role. He's going to be working with the quarterbacks. That's going to allow Zach Hill to spend more time working with the receivers. And then Bobby Wade, who joined ASU within the last year, the former U of A star receiver, he's going to be coaching receivers in the place of Prentice Skill. So they're trying to sort of shoestring the whole thing together. I think the secondary is the least concerning thing from a coaching standpoint. The most would be their receivers and their quarterback situation. Okay,
so the other thing I have on the coaching side, just, I appreciate the update because it's hard to keep straight these days, right? With all the news going out. I'm right now, I'm in the head in the sand kind of a guy, right? Where I'm just like, look, let's just get through this. Whatever happens with the coaches, we'll move on with our lives, right? But I still can't get over Bobby Wade, a U of A star receiver, being on this coaching staff. Am I just being an ASU homer at this point? Should I just let it go? Because you don't see that too often in college sports. Is this just a new trend that's going to be coming down the pipeline?
I think that's, not extremely uncommon that you would have somebody coach at a school that was, that where they had played at the rival. You had Vince Amy was a ASU standout defensive lineman in the mid-90s. He coached at U of A. So this has gone both ways at times in Arizona college football and in the Pac-12 more broadly. I don't think it's really a trend or anything like that, but occasionally you're going to have happen.
One of those, just find a job, right, and get your opportunity, I suppose. I would imagine so. Yep. But so, I mean, obviously, Jayden Daniels is the focus of the offense on there with the running back situation. I know you've been out there at camp. How's Jayden Daniels been looking?
Pretty average. I don't think that he's had a strong first week relative to expectations and what you would believe to be the trajectory of somebody who was so highly regarded and was so impressive as a true freshman in 2019. To me, the whole key of this team's potential is how much of their passing game they're going to be able to unlock between Daniels and their young, talented wide receiver group. And they haven't done well. And there's a number of factors that contribute to that. I think the defense has been excellent. One of the best ASU defenses I've ever seen in practice in the first week of camp. And then you have, as I said, some of these younger receivers that are still trying to come online. But I wouldn't say that it was a sharp week for Daniels, and he's going to have to actually get it into a higher gear if they're going to achieve to the type of season that they hope to have.
So we've heard that, and I don't know, as you might have heard something different because, like I said, you're on the inside. But last year, for instance, I believe it was last year, might have been 2 years now. You heard that about Jaden Daniels in camp, that he wasn't sharp. He wasn't, I even went so far that one or two of the backups, people were saying that they should get the start over him. Is it just he's not sharp at the beginning of the season going into camp? Is it just a maturity thing or a practice thing, or is he just one of those guys that's just going to struggle in the practice environment? Is there any indication on which way? Because he looks great in the games for the most part, right?
Yeah, so I think that he was excellent in practices in 2019, pretty much throughout for a freshman. Last year, we didn't get to watch the practices, of course, due to the COVID situation. So we only got to see him in games. Then after they played USC, a bunch of the offensive players and coaches got COVID. They were off for a month. The UCLA game, I think, was not good. He was sacked 5 times, and then they dominated Arizona and Oregon State. So last year he had, I would say, kind of an average year, maybe for him. But it's hard to really say. The defense is often well ahead of the offense early in camp because offense, there's so much more sort of timing and feel that you need to sort of have down. And historically, we have seen a lot of times that the offense is behind at the outset of camp. But again, he hasn't looked sharp in terms of accuracy of his passes and, command of everything that he's doing out there. It's hard to, I don't think there's like one thing that you could ascribe it to. It's really a whole bunch of sort of elements that all are contributing to that. The defense, the use of the receivers, him personally, maybe not being sharp in several practices, et cetera.
So, you alluded to the young receiving core coming into this. Obviously, that's going to affect the chemistry at the beginning here and things like that. A lot of young studs coming up on the receiver side. Is that more of the concern going into the season for the offense, or is it the running back situation? Not that the running back situation is a problem, but Rashad White's already missing some practices for unknown reasons, and obviously a durability issue on that side. It seems like I'm reading more about durability concerns on the running back side.
No, so a lot of times coaches will moderate the load of running backs who are established to be really good in practice. Is more like a load management situation. Okay. There's nothing that is concerning about ASU's running backs whatsoever. Right? They are going to be among the best in the Pac-12, if not the country. I think the run game overall will be really good. Again, the biggest questions really are about how potent that the passing attack will be, and if they will be able to prevent opponents from sort of loading up the box and just thinking that ASU is going to be super run heavy. And Zach Hill has said that they prefer to be 55% pass, 45% run. Herm Edwards has said we got to be able to score a lot more points than we have, which means we have to be able to have more potency in the passing game. They added Brian Thompson from Utah, who was the big play threat with the Utes, but didn't always have consistent quarterback play to enable that. They have some receivers who are returning: Ricky Pearsall, Andre Johnson, Elijah Badger, Jordan Porter, Johnny Wilson, LV Bunkley Shelton, who they were all like really well regarded at a high school or have shown that they can play successfully at this level. But when you're going up against maybe the best secondary in the Pac-12, definitely one of the best on an everyday basis, and that your pass rush is really good, that creates a lot of challenges at being able to get into a rhythm and complete passes, especially down the field. And we just haven't seen many of them so far.
Yeah, and it's funny when you were answering there, I realized what I had said, but what I meant by that was that the running backs were going to be, could be the question mark, because like what you said on that side, on the loading up the box and being a run heavy team. So ASU football does, obviously it's early, I'm not asking you to make a prediction or anything like that, but ASU football has a unbelievable year if the offense is really good or the defense is one of the best in the country. Which one has to be the one for them to meet some expectations that they have?
Well, I think defense wins championships, especially if you have a good run game, which they have. You're, they're not, if they don't turn the football over and they don't, kill themselves in some other way, penalties or, big mistakes in late game situations, they're going to be in pretty much every game if they have a great defense, and they're going to win most of them probably, especially when you have somebody in Daniels who has shown the ability to put together drives at the end of games with his improvisation. So I would say defense, but ultimately, if you're going to try to win the Pac-12, you kind of need to be good on both sides of the ball. It's not it's not like you can just only be good on defense and then achieve to your expectations.
I just meant if the defense underperforms but the offense does what it's supposed to do, can they still get there, or does it have to be the defense? The defense has to be the strong one.
Yeah, probably not. Unless the passing attack ends up being just a lot better than you would anticipate based upon all the evidence that we have at this point.
Are we going to see Jayden Daniels? I mean, obviously it's early and everything. Are we going to see Jayden Daniels run as much as we're expecting, or are they, obviously that's part of the offense, don't get me wrong, but are they going to try to curtail that a little bit with all the weapons that he has on that side?
Yeah, the goal is really to have him become even more of a pocket passer. And, that's something that they want him to do, is go through the full progression within plays and try to hang in there and wait for receivers to come open. The challenge, of course, is having trust that receivers are going to come open and not waiting too long when it's not going to happen, that you can't get those yards with your feet. They're not going to call a whole lot of design run plays for him. Like, that's not going to be part of the offense.
All right, good. I'd like to see that. I just, even in the college rankings, I just don't like to see quarterbacks, get pounded too much behind there with what's coming. So my last question for you, and I hate to end with a punter question, but is Michael Turk leaving? Obviously, I mean, he's a weapon. He was a weapon on this team. With him entering the portal to go on there, is our special teams, which was a strength with him on there, is this going to affect the season at all? Or is there some, you read some rumors, things like that. Is this just a situation of a guy moving on, doesn't want to get in there? Or is there something bigger in the practice scenes on that special team side?
Well, yeah, he's leaving because he didn't want to get vaccinated, and ASU is requiring
so that is real.
To be vaccinated if they're going to travel and be in meetings and whatnot. And he's been pretty outspoken about personal beliefs and, some of his viewpoints on things on his YouTube channel. It is an impact because he's one of the best punters in the country, especially at flipping the field when ASU has been pinned kind of deep in its own territory. Logan Tyler, who was a punter at Florida State, got out last season transferring to ASU. He's got a chance to be the punter. He's also probably going to be their field goal kicker. And then they have a freshman punter named Eddie Zaplicki, who has looked pretty good in practice as well. I think they'll probably at least be, solid on punting, maybe even above average. But they're not going to be as good as if they had Turk, especially on, being able to flip the field.
Exactly. And that, it's just, I saw that news come across. It kind of just eye opener, and I'm getting into ASU, football mode where I'm learning all the players' names again. You know how that goes, especially after last year, right? It's twice the work now to figure out who's still on the team, who isn't. And man, that name came up as a transfer, and it's like, man, that's the one guy that you could count on, like you said, to flip the field and things like that. So Chris, I appreciate you joining us. Hopefully we have back on throughout the season. Let's actually reach out to you. I have a couple of things for you, but guys, Sun Devil Source, updated constantly out there, always out there. Best ASU information behind the scenes, on top of the scenes. Follow him on Twitter. I appreciate you joining us, Chris.
Definitely, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, perfect. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Phil, does that make you excited for ASU football?
All I can say is forks up, baby.
So last week I had heard that he didn't want to be vaccinated. That's why he was transferring. And just in this day and age, I just kind of put that stuff aside because, it's COVID stuff and I don't know what to believe anymore on that stuff, right? Turns out it's true, huh?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, well, I kind of take more the Michael Irvin approach, which is if you're not willing to get the vaccination to make life easier for where you can be a detriment to the rest of your team,
Absolutely.
then you're just not interested in winning to the full extent that everybody else is.
Especially last year where, like Chris said there.
After going through last year.
Remember they missed a whole month
the
of
Pac-12.
games.
The Pac-12 was the worst in it.
Yeah, and they missed a month of games. And
good Lord.
That's where things just kind of make you scratch your head a little bit. I understand, have your personal beliefs, transfer out, all that stuff. But at the same time, you just kind of sit back and I don't know. It's a different situation. And I'm just glad I'm not in that situation, because then my life's not as complicated. We don't have to worry about that. But Hefty Lefty says, punters are people too. # for the brand. Absolutely. So when we come back, I appreciate Chris joining us from Sun Devil Source. Of course, check him out. I mean, this site is great, guys, especially you ASU fans that want the behind the scenes. He's out there, practices, phenomenal information leading into the season. And we're, like I said, about a month out. I might even be 30 days today going into or 3 weeks out today. So when we come back, we'll obviously get into the news and notes on the NFL this weekend. A couple other fun things. So come on back. The main event, 1580, The Fanatic.
I said Chantilly lace and eggshell, not matte.
Colby's Interior Design Consultancy is floored with new clients.
Wait, what am I looking at here? This looks like plaid.
They need an admin with an eye for design and a knack for numbers.
Okay, hey, look, take a look at this. Do those numbers look right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? Join the United States Postal Service and apply for roles nationwide. Serve your community with pride and receive benefits, including competitive pay and opportunities for advancement. Whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal positions, we have options that may be perfect for you. The United States Postal Service is an equal opportunity employer. Apply now at USPS.com/careers.
Do you have great credit? And are you good with your money? If so, I bet you're in a low rate 15 or 30-year mortgage. But guess what? You're in the wrong loan. I guarantee it. You see, on a Life Changer loan, not only will your monthly payments go down, but you'll probably pay off your mortgage in under 5 years without changing a dime of spending habit. Sound too good to be true? It's not magic. It's just math. So check us out at lifechangerloan.com. That's lifechangerloan.com.
Arizona Mortgage Broker number MB1002031, NMLS number 1863775. Life Changer Loan Corp is an equal housing lender.
If you're considering refinancing or getting a home loan, listen up. This is Dale Hellestray, and when you need a mortgage, the team I use is led by my good friend, Jeff Locks. And here's why. Jeff and his team negotiate with over 50 lenders to find the best possible deal. Your home has gone way up in value over the past year, so why not utilize your home equity to reduce your monthly expenses or even pay off some debt? Interest rates are still at all-time lows, and if you obtained your current mortgage prior to 2020, you can save a lot of money. Here's the best part. There's absolutely no lender fees. Jeff is truly Arizona's low-cost lender with over 30 years of experience. So call Jeff Locks, and if Jeff can't save you money, you'll get a free $50 Amazon gift card. This is a winning play, so call Jeff today, 480-202-0692. That's 480-202-0692.
Jeff Locks, NMLS number 1003782, National Mortgage License number 181106, Bear Financial Group, AZMB-0904774, Equal Housing Opportunity.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Arizona Army National Guard, aired by the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
And we're back here at the main event every Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. here on 1580 The Fanatic. Of course, Fanatic text line 888-368-1580. It's been one of those days in here, folks. A little behind the scenes deal. Everything's freezing up, pausing. So if I don't get to your text and you're texting in, I'm not ignoring you. Other things are going on in here. So some of them come through, some of them are not. And computers are freezing, all that fun stuff. So we did get, just so you know, we did get a Zoom feed up and everything that we're going to go to now. We got Jeffrey helped me with that today. So we're up and going on that. Today's a test day. Right. And it's on YouTube is how we had to feed it out there. So we try to copy the links out to at the main event pod, of course, 15 of the Fanatic and all of that. So if you see that, I guess it's sounding good and stuff. We're going to get better at this going into tomorrow. But I just wanted to just give everybody an update because I know last week we were down on that. And I appreciate everybody tuning in, especially those of you that aren't allowed to listen to the radio at work. And that's how you watch. I especially appreciate it. And I apologize for not wearing a hat today, so everything's shiny. That's the other thing. My head's a little shiny today. I shaved my head today. It's a little shiny. So one reason why, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but one reason why I am not a head coach in the NFL is I just don't have patience for idiots, right? And people. And and what I mean by that is Michael Thomas delayed his surgery, right, on his leg, or what was it, his foot, right? To where he could have had it earlier in the season, off season. He didn't. He waited till training camp starts. And so he gets it done. He's out of camp. Then he comes out and he posts on Twitter, quote, "They try to damage your reputation. You save theirs by not telling your side of the story," unquote. Things like that would make me want to kill somebody if I was a head coach. Like, you're throwing me under the bus on Twitter when I can come out and say that we recommended you have surgery back in April.
Well, they did come out and say that. Remember Sean Payton came out and publicly at a press conference was like, well, yeah, we wish he was out here. He could have gotten the surgery earlier. Frankly, he should have.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have lambasted. You know what I mean? Like, been more.
That's pretty close to lambastation. That's full lathering of putting the blame squarely on him.
I might be wrong on this one, Phil. I might be wrong on this one.
No, I get it. I get it. Both sides have some room for error.
Just as a head coach, I would just sit in a room across from Michael Thomas and just shake my head, just like. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this? Why do I have to get in this war of words with you now? And why are you doing to me, So Hefty Lefty on the text line says, so ASU is looking for a new punter. My services are available. I'll be a grad transfer if they want a special teams weapon again. They have two young, they have a guy that transferred in. I believe Chris said from Florida State, but I believe he's a senior coming in. And then they do have a young guy also they're really high on. I don't have his name in front of me right now, but you never know. Hefty Lefty, get out there, man. Start getting limbered up and start going that route. So, preseason football starting this week. Cardinals have a game, of course, they have their first preseason game Friday against the Cowboys here at home. Nobody cares, right? Like, how long are the starters playing? And all of that stuff is the biggest question. So how many people went out to the red and white game on Saturday? This used to be a big event, especially up in Flagstaff, right? Because you'd go up to Flagstaff, get out of the heat, you'd watch the practice, it was an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and then you would, enjoy the weekend up north out of the heat. I think I read that only 5,000 people showed up on Saturday on that side, which is great if you want to see up close to the players and everything, right? On that side. And look, here's the disappointing thing. AJ Green didn't play. Rondell Moore, the young rookie that everybody's high on right now, didn't play. Obviously, half the defensive and offensive line was out, right? On that side. So your stars, obviously D-Hop was out there, things like that, but your stars were all kind of out. But look, it's guys hitting, which is phenomenal because it's only like the third or fourth deal. I did hear the crowd really get a little buzzing when I think it was Denard, if I remember correctly, picked off Kyler Murray, early in the game. and it would have been a pick six kind of a thing on that side. And I believe Malcolm Butler was out there. I think he broke up a couple of plays on that side. So I actually watched it on the NFL Network. They were out there, which was kind of cool to see on that side. But I mean, you don't get anything from it, but it was nice to see the team together. And I do not get, did you see this cameo thing with wishing Kyler Murray a happy birthday, Phil? Did you see all this stuff?
I didn't get a chance to see this.
Well, you didn't miss much, but I was going to rip it. I don't get why people like, I get, okay, I'm not in the locker room. I'm not close with these guys, stuff like that. But man, everybody's eating it up. So I guess what happened was they had Colt McCoy and the quarterbacks do a birthday message through Cameo, but they didn't tell him that it was for Kyler Murray. So then they played it in practice or whatever, you know? So like Colt McCoy did it for a kid named Buddy who was like getting ready to play quarterback on his team or whatever, you know, so he's all doing the pep talk, like, oh, good luck, man, keep your head up or whatever. And it was to Kyler Murray. I don't know. I don't get it either. Okay. So I'm not alone. All right, look it up if you haven't seen it. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm all trying to get out. It's not because I was like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing on that side. One thing that did happen, you know, with Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons, and Jordan Hicks on the field, a lot of 4-3 looks on that defense. And of course, Chandler Jones is back out there. You know, he asked for a trade, but he's out there. You know, and you know, Andy Isabella, Keyshawn Johnson got the 3 starting receivers to start the game. We started to get a little concerned. Christian Kirk's not around. You know, it started off as, oh, it's just some time off. It's getting into some serious time here going forward. And
you know, it's crazy.
Nowhere to be found.
The Cardinals, before this whole offseason had started, you would say that actually the depth of their team really is the wide receiver group. And here we are. It's kind of like the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of last year, where you would say that the one thing that they have is a plethora of wide receiving options. And now we're getting further on into the season, into the actual training camp, the dates that matter, the actual preseason. And they're dropping like flies. Like AJ Green, you can predict, but Christian Kirk and Rondell Moore.
I can tell you, as from somebody that's, I'm not reporting it because I didn't get 2 sources or whatever that rule is because I'm not a reporter. AJ Green is just sore, and they're just being careful with him because he's up there in age, right? And they don't want him going out there and pulling something because he's sore. So Christian Kirk, though, nobody knows, right? Have you heard anything on him anywhere? Now they don't have to put out injury reports and things like that. I'm not worried about AJ Green. If anything, AJ Green's looked so good in this camp situation that give him the time off. You know, I'm okay with that. It's just a bigger thing is when people say, "Oh, he's only going to be out for a day or two." You're looking at a week later and he's still out. That's where your eyes kind of open up a little bit. Now he has been on the field getting Christian Kirk that I'm talking about has been on the field and he has been getting mental reps, stuff like that, which tells you maybe they're just taking it easy. Which I'm okay with that too. You don't want to push a guy, you know, now and then have him go get fired up and, you know, toss his, you know, break his leg. By the way, and this always cracks me up about these things, is all the rave at how great Colt McCoy looked.
Oh, you know, the favorite player on any team is always the backup quarterback.
It's like, guys, come on. It's the red-white game. Quarterbacks aren't getting hit, you know, and can we stop with that how great Colt McCoy looked thing?
Yeah, it's actually worrisome if they don't look good.
Well, exactly. That's like Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, where
that is worrisome.
Yeah, when you that's what I always say about like not senior day. What you know, like when you do you know, when you're gonna get drafted and you go to
the Senior Bowl.
No, you throw on your own, like you have your own personal day. You know, and pro day. Thank you. And you know, and the quarterback throws this long, like 80-yard, like Justin Fields throws this 80-yard bomb with nobody on him. And it's like, he's supposed to do that. If he didn't do that, we'd be worried, but he's supposed to do that with nobody on him, kind of a deal. And same thing in this situation, but it was nice to see those guys go. So, oh, wow. King of Kittens was there, sent me a picture. Says CK13 was at the stadium this weekend. Some big boys right there. Woo. When's JJ Watt going to get out there? I mean, that's the next deal. I mean, I don't think we have to worry about JJ Watt being ready for the season, right?
Health wise, you're saying? Or
No, yeah,
like
just in
play
general.
wise?
Yeah,
Okay.
in general.
Just
like
in
if
general?
he sits out the whole preseason and he's healthy, we don't have to worry about him showing up game one and struggling, right? Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I think again, a defensive line, especially for somebody like JJ Watt, you're just looking at him to sack the quarterback. You're kind of just, holding their hips, directing them where to, and then just see quarterback go get quarterback.
Let Chandler Jones get double teamed and go wherever they're not at, right?
Yes,
Yeah, kind of it does. Like, coach, what play call? What the call we calling? And coach goes, JJ, just go where Chandler Jones isn't being double teamed, and you'll get in there. One interesting thing about this weekend, we talked about it at the Hall of Fame game the other day, which I was like, man, those punt kickers are missing some bad kicking it. I mean, with our issues last year with place kicking and things like that, kicker Matt Prater, perfect 5 for 5 on Saturday. Longest one being a 42. Last year, I talked about this a lot, where Cardinals left a lot of 46, 47-yard field goals. Can Matt Prater make it that long? However, I'm expecting the offense to be able to move farther down the field this year than they did last year, which would also kind of help them out, going into this season and as well going forward. So all in all, I mean, I'm fine with the way the Cardinals season's going so far on that side. And I mean, how would you like to be a new head coach? And your quarterback wants to be traded when you get hired, all that stuff. I mean, you just take the job, right, to get the paycheck and all that, knowing that you're going to be fired in a year or two, and you just take the bigger paycheck and go back to deal. And of course, I'm talking about the Houston head coach at this point. I mean, there is zero hope in Houston, right? Like to do anything.
This season specifically, yes. Moving forward, it was quite funny to find the Houston Texans somehow managed to get the triumvirate of being a bad team, right? Normally, it's what you have two out of the three situations of the following scenarios. One, you have no quarterback. Two, you have no cap room to improve the team. And three, you have no draft picks with which in to improve the team. The Houston Texans find themselves to be an overspent team with a disgruntled quarterback and no draft capital for the foreseeable future to fix this problem. That's very hard to accomplish, and they somehow managed to get into that.
That's Bill O'Brien's doing right there, right?
And part, yeah.
it's all him at that point. So Big Jim P in Avondale was at the red white game also, and he sent a picture. It's Chandler Jones in full pads standing next to JJ Watt, and it amazes me. Like I've seen this pictures before. JJ Watt is bigger than a lot of these guys are in just their pads when he's in no pads. He is a beast out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. So Hefty Lefty says, if Prater is back on the Colombian Bam Bam, he will be the best kicker in the league this year. He should. He plays in a lot of domes going into this, right? And all that. So Marcus Mariota with the Raiders is saying that he's keeping his eye on the league to see what starting positions open up. How far down the list is Marcus Mariota for anybody to sign as a starter?
He's at the bottom of the starter list, but he's a great backup.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the Colts aren't trading for him, right? There's other options before you get to him at that point. I'm going to assume and run on that side. So appreciate it, guys. We made it through Monday. Appreciate Chris Cartman with Sun Devil Source for joining us today. Talk some ASU. Get him back on as we get closer to the season. And, of course, Blender, 3 o'clock. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
With Amdro, you can enjoy your backyard like never before. Our round-the-clock pest protection gives you the peace of mind to enjoy your great outdoors without a care in the world.
Jennifer!